What's up, you guys, and thanks for tuning back into the IPL. My name is MacroPlz, and I'm very proud to be presenting to you a ZBT here on Cloud Kingdom. Now, before we go ahead and jump into the action, let's go ahead and introduce our players. Fighting out of the top right corner, we have the blue Zerg. It is Team IGNProLeague's Slivko. And his opponent, fighting out of the bottom left position as the red Terran, it is the King of the North. It is Team Evil Genius's Thorzane. Alright guys, and so both of these players recently competed in the WCS Europe. Slivko took third place in WCS Russia. Unfortunately, he was unable to advance in the Europe finals, so he will not be attending Shanghai. And unfortunately, it was the same fate for Thorzane. He did take #1 spot in the WCS Sweden. However, he was knocked out in the WCS Europe final, so he will not be going to Shanghai either. Team IGNPro, the team that Slivko is on, used to actually be a Dota and CS Counter-Strike powerhouse. They don't really have that much of a SC2 team yet. They only have 4 active players on their rosters, but a couple years back they were definitely known in the esports community for those types of teams. Alright guys, and we're actually going to see some action here because it looks like Thorzane's going to go ahead and build a proxy racks here right outside the third base of Slivko. Unfortunately for Thorzane, there is going to be an Overlord coming into position here, and he's going to be able to scout this here. The bad news for Thorzane is Thorzane was not able to see that Overlord, so he doesn't know that this has already been spotted. So we're going to have to see how Slivko is going to react here. Looks like he's going to go ahead and send some drones down here. It looks like despite seeing the double proxy racks, he's still going to go hatch first. He's going to go ahead and double back his scouting drone and bring down another, and he's going to start attacking these SCVs. We need to see how Thorzane is going to react. It looks like he's going to go ahead and pull off and hold on the building, and he's just going to go ahead and cancel this, and he's going to get his SCVs back. No damage really taken there, just a little bit of mining time and lost resources for Thorzane. And Slivko wasn't even scared, he still went the hatch first, so he's still right on track. And it looks like Thorzane is actually going to transition out of this, and he's just going to go into more of his normal style, and he's going to go into command center first. Thorzane also being called the Spoon Terran for the simple reason that he likes to play a slow, drawn out, and methodical game. And a lot of people are saying it was like being killed with a spoon. We do see a normal pull timing going down for Slivko, so again, he wasn't phased by that opening at all, and just planned to see him play a pretty normal game here. Now, Thorzane's going to assume that Slivko went hatch first at a level play like this, and he better hope so because he didn't actually put his first supply depot and block off the ramp or use it to block off his natural. You can see that he's now bringing some SCVs down, and he's going to start building some barracks here, it looks like, and start walling off this way. Slivko does have an Overlord in position, so he's going to be able to watch this, and he's going to be able to see the barracks out, and with him seeing the barracks there, he's going to go ahead and assume that Thorzane has this expansion down. And so he's just going to play as such. We're going to see if he's going to take a quick third base, or if he's just going to drone up and play a little bit more like, I guess, 2-base style. Now, neither player has taken their gases yet. That's not that weird for Slivko, but that is a little bit weird for Thorzane. It looks like he's going to go ahead and build a third additional barracks, and he'll probably be going more of a bio style. Thorzane really known more for like marine tank medevac styling, so I expect to see a lot more out of that for him. Just now morphing his command centers into orbital commands there, and expect him to start dropping some mules, and those mules are actually going to allow him to catch up with those minerals and resources that he lost earlier. We do see a gas coming down for Slivko here. Now guys, one thing that we're going to want to pay attention to here is how much gas he's going to mine, because it only costs 100 Thespian gas to be able to get the metabolic boost and give your Zerglings the speed that they need. And so we're going to see if he's going to keep the drones on after that 100 and do something else. Now, Thorzane has not been able to scout at all since everything was denied with that proxy racks there. You can see that Slivko does have control of the towers. He does still have this Overlord in position here, and he's using it to scout. He's going to see that these minerals are being mined now, so he definitely knows that there's an expansion there now. And he's going to be a lot more comfortable because he knows that he's not facing a 1-base all-in as of this point. Thorzane just sending a couple Marines out. He wanted to clear the towers out. He wants to try to deny him as much information for Slivko as possible here. But as of this point, Slivko has pretty much everything read, and he knows exactly what's going on. We are going to see now, looks like speed did go down, and it looks like Slivko is actually going to go ahead and pull some drones off of this gas here. Leaving one in there, I expect him to maybe do something with it a little bit later, but right now he really wanted to focus more on the minerals and not so much on teching up as quickly. Thorzane's going to go ahead and push out with a group of Marines here, it looks like, and he's just going to go up and try to pressure and posture up and maybe try to cause Slivko to have an overreaction. This is actually really bad timing for Slivko, as it looks like he's going to go ahead and try to take a third hatchery here. Unfortunately, these Marines are going to go up, and they're going to be able to get that canceled off. And now we're going to be able to see, it looks like Slivko is going to lose this drone, Oh my goodness, he's actually able just to barely pull it away there, and yeah, that was really lucky for him. So again, it looks like Thorzane's going to go to sacrifice this Marine. He wanted to get some scouting information there, and at least Thorzane knows for sure that this base is here. And also what this tells him, you guys, is that with that many queens out, Thorzane at least know that it's not like a baneling all in or anything else that he has to really be worrying about as of right now. Looks like Slivko's going to go ahead and try to take another expansion here, but even more Marines are in the position now. They got the drone that time, and that has been canceled once again. And great job by Thorzane for just being there at the right place, right time. You will see him now go ahead and back up across the map because speed is just now about to finish, and Thorzane is well aware of that timing, and he does not want to get caught out of position and lose all of those Marines, since that's the only army he has at this point. We do see the double engineering bait going down for Thorzane, as well as making an additional barracks. So he is up to 4. He is constructing an additional command center. They're probably going to morph that into an orbital and start dropping down some more mules, and then probably float it down to his third a little bit later on in the game. We do see Slivko is going to go ahead and march across the map here with a handful of lings. He just wants to clear out the towers, and he's going to again be trying to put some pressure onto Thorzane. But with him having this wall off here, it's not going to be cost efficient for him to try to break in there. Although, one thing that Thorzane did, he's getting stim now on this tech lab, but he needs to watch out because he hasn't been able to scout again. He doesn't know if there's roaches that may be coming in, and if a pack of roaches came in here, they could actually snipe that upgrade, and it would be a long time before we would see stim for Thorzane. Looks like Slivko's just going to go ahead and park over here at the third base for Thorzane. He definitely wants to try to stall that out as long as possible while he gets the economic advantage. You can see he's going to go ahead and start getting his +1 attack as well as the +1 carapace for his units. And that's just pretty much on par with what Thorzane's doing. He's getting the +1 armor and the +1 weapons for his Marines. We do see him throwing down another tech lab here. I'm assuming, and it looks like he will go ahead and get those combat shields. I don't think that Slivko can necessarily see that from where he's at, so not too big of a deal, but at least, you know, it might help him out a little bit more. We do see that the lair has been completed. We do see infestation pit has gone down. Expect him to start researching pathogen glands as soon as that completes, because he's going to be wanting infestors to come in for the mid game. Looks like Thorzane's going to push out, but it was a little bit of a mistake because he did not be able to have that wall off completed, and now he has a ton of lings inside of his base, and these things are going to be wreaking havoc. Especially since there's no buildings up on the ramp, he was not able to wall that off either, and now lings are inside of the main, and they're going to be harassing this mineral line. We're going to see how much damage he's able to do. Thorzane reacting pretty quickly here, pulling the SCVs as best as he can, and he had to pull all those Marines back, but this is costing Thorzane a lot of mining time they did not want to have to waste here. And as you can see, even more lings are pulling in here. Thorzane never actually dropped that down, so now he has lings in the natural as well as in the main here, and he's having to chase all those SCVs back. It looks like he was able to take down, so far, 9 different SCVs, and that was a pretty good, attack for Slivko there. And as you can see, even more SCVs were actually locked out because Thorzane had to scramble to get that barracks back down. Thorzane is able to clean this up, but he's definitely regretting that mistake there. And it looks like Slivko's even going to be a little bit more annoying. He's going to start dropping creep down just to try to delay that third as much as possible. As we do see, it's a 30 supply lead for Slivko. As his third base is fully up now, he's going to take his 5th and 6th gases. And we can see that the first set of infestors are on the way out, and pathogen glands is just now about to finish. We do see +2 weapons is on the way for Thorzane for those Marines. I expected him to see probably get the armor soon, and it looks like that's going to go ahead and go down. And it looks like he's going to be a little bit ahead as far as the upgrades go, because Slivko has not started his yet. Although the tech is a little bit better for Slivko, because he already has the infestors with fungals out on the map, and Baneling's speed is just now about to finish. These siege tanks do not have siege mode, so Thorzane does need to be careful here. Looks like he's going to go ahead and get a free infestor. That was great for him, but now he's going to be losing these tanks. What Slivko's going to want to do is want to get a full surround with these lings. Can he do it? He's going to go ahead and try to run past them and try to get some connections with these banelings, and Thorzane is going to lose all of those Marines. It looks like Thorzane is going to try to go ahead and move down and get this third now. The creep has finally cleared up. He hasn't dropped it yet, and it looks like Slivko was able to finally clean up that entire army there. And it looks like we even have some more lings just kind of sitting here. That might seem kind of weird, you guys, but I mean, this is actually something I've seen a couple players do, because if any drops go over there, they'll be able to see them, and it looks like Slivko's actually just going to go ahead and move those back. Alright, and it looks like you can see that Slivko's actually has a pretty decent sized army on the map as of right now. Thorzane only has 8 Marines to the 77 lings and the 8 banelings of Slivko. As Slivko's going to go ahead and start trying to take out a 4th, he's pushing creep all the way across the map. He's already hit the middle level there, and he's going to continue to try to push that further. We do see, as of now, there's a spire going down, and Slivko's actually already going up to a quick high. We're going to need to see what he's going to be transitioning into from here, because I'm definitely interested to see if he's maybe going to go Broodlords from here, or maybe just sit on Lair for a little bit longer, and then maybe go up to Ultras. We're definitely going to have to wait and see what he's going to be doing here. Stim and combat shields are done for those Marines, and their +2 weapons and armor are going to be finishing here soon. It does look like Slivko is going to go ahead and start sending some lings across the map. He's probably going to want to start trying to harass this third, although Thorzane already now has a bunker in position, and the siege mode has completed for those siege tanks. And it looks like Thorzane might be going for some drop play here as he's sending 2 full medevacs out and around the map. Now, we do see that one of these, it looks like it's going to get spotted by Slivko as it's going over, and that is just not what Thorzane wanted to see here. Let's see if Thorzane was able to notice that that was going on, if he's going to pull this back or not. As we can see that this dropship over here on this side, it did not get detected, so that's going to be a little bit better. And it looks like it's probably going to be heading over into the 4th base area as soon as Thorzane's able to scout it. Static defense is already up for Slivko, so he's going to be completely fine for when this drop does come in. And it looks like Thorzane was not paying attention. That medevac has already taken a ton of hits, dropping the Marines down, and it looks like Thorzane's going to lose a full medevac full of Marines. And on this side of the map, it looks like Thorzane's going for it. He's picked the Marines back up, but unfortunately the fungals are there. They're going to lock that medevac in place, and those Marines are not long for the world. They are going to go down. During this, Thorzane did go ahead and put up a 4th command center, so he has a 4th base that he's going to be trying to take here. Now, although Slivko is up already on 4 bases and has them established, he does not want to let Thorzane start taking this position. This is the type of game that Thorzane likes to play. He likes to drag the game out as much as possible. He's very patient, and he doesn't get discouraged from losing early skirmishes like this. And I mean, thinking about it now, I mean, he's just getting a pretty good economy, but if you look at what Slivko's doing, Slivko has already been making some corruptors, and that Greater Spire is already almost done. So he's definitely going to be transitioning into Broodlords, where if we look over here for Thorzane, as of right now, he's just now starting his Viking production, but when we take a look at the units tab, he only has 4 medevacs on the field right now. So he has to be very careful with those medevacs, because if Slivko can kill off those medevacs, that's going to make it less Vikings that he's going to be able to make for when that Broodlord army finally comes into play. And now, as you can see, 6 Broodlords are being morphed as of right now over here at the 4th base, as Slivko's going to go ahead and try to take a hidden 5th. Looks like he was going to try to pressure into this 4th base here. Unfortunately, there's a lot of defense already in position. We have tanks spread out, the planetary fortress is there, and he's actually even making a sensor tower because he wants to have full vision of this, and that's going to create an awkward scenario for these units over here because now Thorzane has complete vision of them. Looks like he's even going to go ahead and throw up even some more command centers here, probably using those for mules, and that way he can start ditching his SCVs a little bit later in the game, and that way he can have a lot more stronger and bigger army composition than his opponent. We do see the +3 weapons and +3 armor are on the way, as well as the armory, so he's getting the ship plating, and that's going to definitely help his Vikings and medevacs stay alive a little bit longer. There was a little bit of an attack over here. It looks like Thorzane's trying to kite away. He will be able to kill off these lings here, but those aren't really big to what Slivko was doing anyway, as Slivko's going to go ahead and take a 6th base and a 7th base now on the map compared to the 4 of Thorzane. However, with those mules, that's keeping Thorzane well in the game, and what this is going to do is this is going to cause Thorzane to have to spread himself out across the map if he wants to kill off all of these hatcheries. Alright, and it looks like he's even going to go ahead and start saturating his 5th. Slivko, and it looks like in a great position. He's actually going to go ahead and build another spire. His +3 is now on the way for his weapons. And as you can see, he's just still morphing more and more Broodlords. However, Thorzane has not stopped with his production at all. There's more Vikings being produced. He has Ravens on the field, and he's even actually getting the Corvid reactor, which is something I definitely did not expect to see here. But what he wants is those Ravens to have a little bit more energy when they do start. Alright, it looks like Thorzane was planning on going ahead and taking this base, but it looks like Slivko is already keen to that. He's going to go over here and start killing off these SCVs, killing off the refinery as well as that missile turret. Thorzane's not going to be able to land that command center while those are there, and he's going to have to send some units over to kill it. Thorzane is aware of this base over here now. Unfortunately, these units are all going to die because the corruptors are going to snipe down that medevac, and then the infestors and the broodlords are going to clean up the rest of those marines. Now, Thorzane needs to start worrying about this a little bit because he has his units all the way over here. You know, a big group of marines to clear out these links so he can take this extra base, but he needs to start preparing for the fact that Slivko can start harassing over this wall and maybe doing some damage. Now, we do see we have another planetary fortress being made, and Slivko as of this point is just now barely getting his +3 carapace for his ground units, but starting his +1 fire attacks and his +1 carapace for his corruptors and broodlords. So definitely seeing him doing some damage with those here soon. Thorzane doing an awesome job. Going to go ahead and try to cancel this hatchery and do as much damage as he can. I mean, if you take a look at what Thorzane's actually been able to do, I mean, he's gotten some scanning down and been able to scout, but I mean, this map is being taken over by Slivko as of this point, as we can see that he is already maxed, and he already has a pretty big bank banking up for him as of this point. We do see Seeker missiles are being researched by Thorzane, so he's definitely going to be using these Ravens here to start trying to take out a lot of these Broodlords and Corruptors and a lot of the point defense drones to try to help mitigate some of that damage. Now this is an interesting upgrade. We do see personal cloaking is going down, so we are going to be seeing some ghosts, everybody. Now what he's going to be wanting to do is he's going to want to get off some EMPs on the infestors. If he can stop a lot of the fungals that are going to be coming towards him, that's going to help him greatly when he starts meeting up with this army. Now it looks like Thorzane's going to be chased back. He's going to go ahead and pick up a lot of the army that he had here and get those medevacs away. And again, those are a lot more important than the Marines that he just lost, because he does not want to have to remake these medevacs. The Marines, he can keep producing those all game. And look at all of the Vikings that Thorzane has. He's just trying to get ready for this attack that he knows he's coming here. The supplies are still a little bit off, and you know, Slivko is maxed out and he has a huge bank. But Thorzane has a really scary army as of this point when you take a look at it. He has the 3-3 Marines, 3-3 Ghosts. He's getting the personal cloaking, and he's going to be able to try to cloak those. And as of right now, it doesn't really look like Slivko has very much detection around the map. And so if this comes and he surprises him, that's going to be awful for Slivko, because those infestors that he has will be rendered useless. Now, it looks like, as of this point here, we got +2 weapons starting for the vehicles of Thorzane, as he's still just trying to move around the map and kill things off the best that he can, denying this hatchery here. And it looks like there's a little bit of attack. The Broodlords are coming over here. It looks like they'll have to be pushed back by these Vikings, but they were able to cause a lift on that barracks and kill off the, or at least damage the attachment there. And that's kind of what I was talking about. Slivko's abusing the terrain to be able to start there and, you know, just harass Thorzane and maybe try to pull Thorzane out of position as he maybe tries to hit from another angle. And as you can see again, it looks like here comes an attack. It looks like some infested Terrans are going to go down, and Slivko's going to start breaking down the rocks, and he's going to start breaking down the wall of what Slivko has. Over here, Thorzane is doing a pretty big push. These Marines are going to do a lot of damage since there's nothing over here to really stop them. And now we see that the full attack has begun. The infestors have gone in, and those Broodlords are just taking down all of the buildings in their path. Here come the Ghosts. They're going to go in there, and there is a huge EMP. All of the fungals that were there are now gone, and now they're just sitting there sniping it off. It looks like there's only one infestor that actually wasn't even hit, and he was able to fungal those Ghosts and actually use them for the detection. But look at all the Vikings now just eradicating all of these Broodlords. Without the infestors, these now are just going to be dying because he no longer has the anti-air to take them out. The Ravens, the point defense drones, the turrets, as well as the Seeker missiles have just turned this entire game around, as now we see it's over a 50 supply deficit for Slivko. Thorzane's going to go ahead and land these Vikings. He's going to walk them over to try to kill these infestors. And if you take a look at it, he was still doing a ton of damage with that drop that never got stopped. Slivko now is down in supply by over 40. And I don't really know what he's going to do to clean this up anymore, guys. A lot of Slivko's army or supply was in those drones. And there's GG from Slivko. He's going to have to tap out there. And that was definitely a turnaround surprise. I did not think that Thorzane was going to be able to pull it back there. But again, this is the type of game that Thorzane likes to play. He likes to just play it slow, methodical, and just wait until he's ready to attack. And it's that patience that ended up winning him this game. Of course, guys, we want you to go ahead and get on Twitter. Tell all your friends to watch the IPL so that way you can see more great games like this. As always, my name is MacroPlz, and it was a pleasure to cast this game for you, and we'll see you next time.